Thank you for jumping back on the channel. I've got the tailgate set up here on Jack, our 2017 Ram Bighorn. Got it taped off. We're fixing to plasti dip the bumper. I've got to pull these rear floods first. I don't have to, I could just tape them off, but when I originally put them in, I made some pretty ugly cuts. So I'd like to pull those, get that. I'm not going to weld in more plate or anything like that, but I'm just going to hopefully hide it a little bit better with the plasti dip. Went too big on the hole, it was a little offset. So got it taped off. You can see we got some wind here. I've over taped it, or I hope I've over taped it to keep the plastic from acting like a sail and just pulling it all away, and to keep it from dipping into areas that I want to get covered with the plasti dip. So we're going with the piano black. I've got it sitting out in the sun. It's the Dip Your Car Hyper Dip Piano Black, which is supposed to be a gloss. If you remember on the front bumper, I did not get it glossy like I wanted, and also I'm going to be touching up the front bumper. I'll be covering some of that on this. You may have questions about parking sensors. Allegedly, you're supposed to be able to go over them with a thin coat of whatever, that be vinyl wrap, plasti dip, paint. You're supposed to be able to cover them a little bit, and they still function properly. Mine haven't thrown any engine codes or getting any kind of misreadings or anything. If you've ever had any kind of mud or anything on there and they want to go off like crazy, one of mine, when it gets a little condensation, like the dew in the morning on it, it wants to alarm. So you're supposed to be able to cover them up. I haven't had any issues on the front bumper, haven't had any problems there, so I'm going to continue as is. I don't want the coat around there to be thin, but I'm probably backing off a little bit around that area and then making sure the rest is good and thick. If you remember on the plasti dip, if you do overspray, it does come off easily. I've seen acetone, mineral spirits, and then Dip Your Car also sells a remover if you've got excess spray. So I'm going to do that. Should have took the trailer hitch out, but I was being kind of lazy and I just want to hurry up and get something done. We know from my videos that I'll probably end up regretting that for some reason, but I think we're good. I'm going to get the corners taped up a little bit better right in here. Just make sure we're not catching any overspray. It's not terrible if I do have overspray, but it is easier to take the plasti dip off if it's got thick coats versus thin coats. You just gotta sit there and rub the thin coats off, where if it's built up some layers, it's a lot easier to just peel it off. So that's what the design is. So, all right, I'm gonna get these fog lights out and then we'll get going. Thank you guys. All right, so let me put my remote down like I did that magically and I'm away from here and it saves me the time in editing. All right, so got it taped off. I've got the floodlights pulled, which those, by the way, work excellent. I've mentioned them in Jack's intro video a little bit. They are Traveler, the brand from Tractor Supply. These things light it up. I do have them on an independent switch. They are not wired into the reverse because every time I'm in reverse, I don't want these coming on. And then I do want them being able to come on when, if I'm working on something, skinning a deer, or we're trying to pull somebody out of a ditch, something like that. I want to be able to have work lights to work off of. So independent switch, Traveler, it does have the vivid hex light smoke on it. Not detrimental. It's like, oh great, you have lights, and then you just shadowed it all down and diminished it. No. I've went over this plenty of times. Marginal, if any. I mean, there's got to be some difference if you could measure it somehow. Marginal, and these put out such good light, it does not take away. I promise you. I wouldn't do it for the aesthetic, and then I don't have the function of light. That's just dumb. So I've already used the Dip Your Car PreDip Spray they have for cleaning. They recommend cleaning the vehicle 24 hours before washing. Of course I've done that. Why wouldn't I have done that? That's part of the instructions. PreDip Spray. If you do look at the Dip Your Car stuff, I'm not sponsor or spokesperson for them or anything. Excellent customer support. and they have kits to help get your stuff together. It comes with microfiber, comes with this wrap with blue tape already built into it, just like you can get at Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace, whatever. Those kits come with it, and the convenience and it seems like money savings of all of that being put together is great. So highly recommend that company if you're looking at doing some type of plasti dip to your vehicle. Their kits to help support what the project is you want to do really helps a lot. Even came with this microfiber. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'm saying a lot. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is 2-to-1 alcohol. We're going to wipe it down real quick. We're going to get this going, and then I'll move over to the front and start. That way, while coats are setting up back here, I can be addressing the front also. I'll try to make sure and get some footage of that and see what the issues are there, see how much tape off and everything I've got to do. So let's go ahead and get going with the alcohol wipe down. Now, one thing I noticed on the PreDip Spray is I sprayed down the bumper, which then I got overspray from that. Not a big deal, but I got it on the plastic. Okay, no big deal. Well, if a wind picks up and whips that plastic and it splatters while you're trying to spray, that's going to become a big deal. And you've just created more problems for yourself that were not necessary. Okay? The world's hard enough, guys. Let's not add more problems to the situation. Okay, so don't make it hard on yourself. I did wipe the plastic down and got it all dried off with a microfiber cloth. That way, it's not trying to splatter. As I'm sitting there talking to you, I did it again with the alcohol. But that way, it's not trying to splatter on our PreDip. And this doesn't have to be just super amazing. You see how ugly my cuts were here. Just dumb. Just got in a hurry. There's the advice of, you know, an 80% plan now is better than a 100% plan tomorrow. And I feel like I've used positive reinforcement in my life to go with that. Of, yeah, just go full speed, full bore, do it, whatever. And come back and do the cleanup later. Sometimes plan the things out and think about it, okay? Don't get paralysis by analysis by over planning, but definitely think about things. I was gonna save it for another video, but I had a 73 Mustang that ran and drove great. It was not restored. It was ugly. Needed some help, especially interior, but great car. So, see, I'm still getting some junk off on this. You do not want that in your plasti dip. So, anyway, I pulled the engine out, thinking I wanted to clean up the engine bay. Clean up the fire, weld up some holes, just get the engine bay cleaned up and looking pretty. Well, while the engine's out, let's rebuild the engine. And while this is done, let's go ahead and get into the transmission. And then the whole project ended up snowballing to bigger than I had the money for, and the time and the expertise and everything. And now I had a perfectly running car with the engine sitting out of it, occupying space in my dad's shop, just not for what, you know? If the engine can be pulled, the engine can be reinserted and pulled again later. Don't have some planning, have some ideas in place of how you want to scale. You know, is this a phase 1 or a phase 2 or a phase 3 project? Is this a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? However you want to think of it, however you want to just go at it. Have a little bit. Like, take action. Don't let it just sit there and be a daydream you've had for 1 year, 2 years. It's a decade later and you're finally doing things that you want to be doing. Don't allow that to happen, but also have the balance of, have some forethought, you know? See that vehicle in your mind, because I know you do. I know you see, when you look at that vehicle, you can see all the things done to it already. And then reverse engineer that, okay? Plan it out. Have things, well, it wouldn't make sense to replace the shocks and then I want to put a lift kit on it later and rebuy all that. Okay, so maybe just wait on the lift kit or wait on the shocks or whatever and coordinate that to where you're not just shooting yourself in the foot, okay? A lot of y'all know that. Not trying to preach at y'all like it's because I've made those mistakes. It's because I've messed up like that, okay? All right, we've got this wiped down. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. I'll probably go over it again just with a clean microfiber. Just to make sure we're good. I don't want any splotches of alcohol in it. And then we'll get spraying. All right, so I'm shaking up the Dip Your Car Hyper Dip Piano Black, which is a gloss, if applied correctly. I was trying to save y'all the horror of watching my man boobs jiggle while I shake the can. Sorry about that. If you're here for that, I appreciate you, but there's probably better channels or websites you could go to for that. Oh, shaking a can. Most people do this. You see them videos, uncut footage of them doing this, and then get on it. You gotta consider, I've had it sitting in my garage for 3 weeks. Who knows how long it's sat in a warehouse before that. Get that stuff stirred up. You're just hurting yourself if you're not. One thing was turning it upside down and you can hear the BB in there. Get that thing swirling so it's cutting that stuff off the sides. Who knows? I don't know. Get that stuff cut off the bottom. You can hear it running across the bottom. I'm getting that stuff really mixed up in there. There's not going to be anybody else to blame but yourself if this isn't mixed up good. I do have I've had both of these. I've got 2 cans right now. I've had the other one. I've had them both sitting in the driveway, sitting in the direct sun. It's 90 degrees today, a little over 90. Not terrible. Feels great for what it has been here in North Texas. Hot water. Have you a pan of hot water? Not boiling, and I don't know how hot, just hot. Be careful, use at your own discretion. AutoPlayGarage is not responsible for if you do things like I do. All the full disclaimer. Not a mechanic, not a paint and body specialist, okay? So, I think we've got this mixed up good. If not, I'm getting seasick from jiggling, so we're gonna call that good. We're gonna hit 3 or 4 light dust coats to get a base established, and then we're gonna like shellac it on there like 6 coats. I do have, this came from Dip Your Car. You can pick these up again at any, maybe automotive, I'm not sure on that, but hardware store definitely. For your spray can. The big thing to remember with this is, if I can get it on there now, you want to keep that can upright, okay? That's the big thing. You want to keep this can upright so you get a good even spray. Most of the time you want to keep that nozzle clean. Like I haven't even opened this one yet and it's already got some stuff on the outside, so I'm going to get a blue shop towel. Stand by. Thing just does not look right in there. You want to keep that nozzle clean. This also even comes with a pick from Dip Your Car to be able to pick that clean, because think about how rubbery this stuff is. That's the whole reason you're using it. When it starts drying on there, you've just occluded your spray nozzle, and you're going to get sputter out on there. Okay, cool. Look at there, even has directions on how to put it on, which is not what I did. You want to do a test spray just to see how just so you're oriented to how it's spraying. We're gonna get this going. I know you can't see me over there. I'm working my way around to you, okay? Another thing with plastic dip or paint in general, you don't want bridging between that tape and the area you just coated. Now I'm going to hit these areas hard where I've got the holes. You don't want it bridging. Already got junk in there. Cool. Between where you've got it taped and the surface you're doing. So on your last coat, when it is wet, when it's good and wet, that's when you want to hurry up and get this stuff off of where it's next to where you're working, okay? Sorry, I know my camera here is not great for you, but I want to get this going. I'll fix it on the next go round. So, we're just doing a light coat just to get a base built up. I'm not thrilled with how it's looking so far because I'm not getting under here, and the idea is not to have chrome showing. If it was, then we're on the wrong project. But I'll tell you, even since I did the headlights and taillights, I kind of like the chrome a little bit more. I don't know. Those chrome wheels kind of look, we might touch on that. Yeah, you can see them there. Right before I get in the way, sorry. This is an area that got good on the front bumper because I was getting way too close because the tire didn't give me the clearance. So it actually started coming through gloss looking like it was supposed to. I don't have a whole lot of cans and I want to make sure all this goes the distance, so I'm trying not to get too crazy with this. Anyway, back to the wheels. I'm really, I don't know, because I was going to Plasti dip them. And Plasti dip is not a permanent solution. If you take care of it and it's kind of babied, you can have Plasti dip serve you for 3 or 5 years. That's kind of the average lifespan. This truck is 4-wheel drive. It's going to be going off-road. It's not a whole lot, not like trails and stuff like that, but just be able to go hunting and some dirt roads and mud roads and stuff like that. So I don't know how well Plasti dip is going to work on these wheels. You can see right there, but I'm really liking them. They've got a little bit of a, dare I say, muscle car kind of look to it. The spokes are kind of fat, but it doesn't look like the older Gen 2 Rams that had the flower wheels. I had those on an 08. Yikes, they just look like big old daisies sitting on there. Oh no, I take that back. They look close to it, but it wasn't those. You know the ones I'm talking about with the big swelled spokes. Look like just big daisies rolling on them, and wasn't my cup of bourbon. So, all right, we're gonna let that sit up. I'm gonna start dressing up the front. I'll get footage of the front, but not necessarily in the dress up process. It's gonna be the same as this, okay? And I've got some mineral spirits that I'm gonna use to get those rough areas touched up and smoothed out, and then we'll start hitting the front too. Game on? Appreciate you guys. Thank you. I hope some of this helps y'all somehow, or if nothing else, just get out there and get on your projects. No matter how big or small that project may be, just get after it. I'm trying to turn you off now. All right, crew, we've already got 3 coats on this rear bumper. It's already starting to gloss up real nice. Tip that the guys from Plasti Dip, or Dip Your Car, sorry. The guys from Dip Your Car gave me was getting real close to get that gloss. If you've spray painted a lot, it would be how you typically don't want to spray paint because you're going to start getting runs and stuff. You can get runs in this, but I think that's why the front bumper was so flat looking, or more satin, because I didn't get close enough, because I was too used to how you usually spray paint and you feel like you're gonna start getting runs and ripples and sputter and all that stuff. I am getting probably about the last third of this can, if I was estimating, which I am, that's why I said it. So I don't know why I said if I was estimating. But, so I wanna make sure this is shaking up really good. I don't wanna get a lot of sputter and stuff. I do have a blue shop towel with some mineral spirits on it. I want to make sure that nozzle is good and clean. Don't want junk coming out into the finish. But I don't know if you can tell it from there. We're already picking up a nice gloss. You can see it right there. We're already starting to pick up a nice gloss, and we've got 3 dust coats on it. So now I'm going to start. All right, let me scooch down here for you. A little tip on the Plasti Dip I just noticed. This is probably the 7th can I've used, but on Rust-Oleum they have a dot to let you know where the siphon is, the straw the tube in there, and you align the nozzle with that. That way you know where you're at. You're not, if you kick it to an angle or something. So that should be the front. Now that's the way it is on Rust-Oleum. I would assume for a random dot right there, that would apply the same way. We'll try it out. Didn't have a mess up right there. Had to run. So when you apply this, just like on the front bumper, it's a few weeks old, and it like reactivates the Plasti dip. So it goes, so I was able to smooth some areas down, and then I'll be recoating with this to try to build those areas back up. But it's like the more you start peeling, it just peels and peels and peels. So try that, and we'll see what the outcome is. All right, so I'm bringing you around to the front. You can see where there was some little bit of damage here. What I need to do is take the mineral spirits, let that re-liquefy, work that area around a little bit and get rid of that edge. That's, I thought, as we started filling back up, but you know better. Back in the back of your mind, you know better. See, we got some tear out there. The big area we had was around this fog light, and it really just kept tearing and tearing. So what I need to do is be a little more patient, use some mineral spirits or paint thinner, whatever you got. I've got mineral spirits, and just keep working that area to get rid of that line and get that smooth down, let it re-liquefy like I was saying it will do, and work that. So we'll try that. It might not be done today, but I'll be a little more patient with that and just see how we can get that worked out. All right, so when you use the paint thinner, this looks still like a pretty good edge right there, but go very liberal with the paint thinner and super light with, you're not looking for the friction out of what you're gonna apply to it. Just use a very liberal amount of that paint thinner and keep re-adding as you go, and it'll take those edges down for you, okay? The more I tried to like scrub it, it just wanted to roll it and peel it off like Plasti dip typically does. So liberal amount of that, like I said, paint thinner, mineral spirits, whatever you got. I'll probably redo this one because it's got some buildup around some of those areas. I'll go back over that and let it dry. I'll probably even towel it off just a little bit with microfiber. You can see where I went back over this fog light area and just tried to get those big edges knocked down. But it would behoove you to use plenty of thinner versus trying to use any kind of force, because that's just going to end up rolling it and peeling it. Okay, that's my little tip there. Okay, so we just got all the masking off the back. I was trying to outrun the sunset, so again, sorry I didn't catch all that for you guys. This looks so much better than the front bumper did. Of course, we're in low light. Garage light's not great. This looks so much better than what the front bumper did. Super glossy. Well, maybe not super glossy, but way glossier than what the front was. Come around here, you can see that. Much better, much better. Just gotta pour it on thick. Even had a bug had landed in here. I was able to get that patched up with the mineral spirits. Just got that out of there, smoothed it out, and then went back over it. Looks great. I'm sure I've got some overspray in some areas. More so like right on the black trim, where maybe I didn't tape it off. Just laser cut. You can see some right there on that plastic. Not a big deal. Right there is where I had a little area I had to patch in. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Now I was able to catch the front. Got the front much better looking. I might go ahead and put one more coat on it just because it's the front. It's getting awful dark on me. I don't want to be making problems where I did on the grill, because the grill was the same black. Got stupid amounts of overspray, even caught my emblem. Should be able to wipe that down though, no problems. Just got in too much of a hurry, which has also been a common theme on this. Not just on this channel, just with me. But much glossier on the grill also. So we're doing all right there. Did tape the fog lights off. Didn't get the where the tow hook area is. I did not tape that off. I can just wipe it down and pull them and wipe them down. I was trying to hurry and get as much done as I could with the daylight I had to work with and the good temperatures and stuff. It's already starting to cool off quite a bit. Much glossier. That fog light came out much better. Again, I know y'all don't have good light. I apologize. That's much better than it was. Patched up perfect. Like you can't even tell that there was an issue right there. Same up here. You can see a little bit. Looks like orange peel though. Doesn't look like major tear out or anything from the Plasti dip. So overall, very pleased. I'm gonna put one more coat on this front real quick before I lose all daylight. We're looking another pretty sunset. So I did get some runs in the grill. I'm not gonna push that though. I know that's just gonna snowball into more and more. So I'll wait till tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening after work and catch those drips. Do the same procedure, just hit it with a little acetone, get it dressed up, and I'll catch that video and get this all tied up for you guys. Thank y'all so much. APG, it's about 2 days later. I've been able to get back out here. We are trying to see if we're getting rain, we're not getting rain. Either way, we're grateful for the rain, but don't want it messing with this Plasti dip, trying to get that coated. So I'm just trying to be patient with that and not trying to rush anything today and make anything worse, make double work for ourselves. So the bumper came out pretty well. As I was going over it just now, I did notice a few little blemish areas right there standing out pretty good. Right there you can see a little drip. Where are we at? Right there. We do have a little drip action. You can feel it. It's not terrible, it's not standing out. Much better gloss than what we had on the front bumper and the grill. Front bumper's looking much better. I did put this dip your car dip coat on it, wiped it down. You do it almost like an Armor All. You're not trying to get aggressive with it or anything, you just want to put that coat on there. They recommend doing it for your initial. After the Plasti dip is set up for 4 hours, you put an initial coat on there, wait about 20-30 minutes, and then put another coat on there, and then about every, I think 2 to 3 weeks after you wash it, it just helps protect it from those little minor abrasions and scratches. So that is looking much better. I'm gonna spin around into the front. Now this doesn't have the protectant on there, but you can see the bumper. We're looking much better than what we were. I did try to reshoot it earlier. Sorry for the overcast. We're not getting good lighting, but still have the fog lights taped up. Now it's not actually touching to where I should have any kind of bridging problems on removing that tape. So we're good to go there. Got a few little blemishes up in here. I didn't want to get the mineral spirits up on the regular painted bumper cover, or upper glands, whatever you want to call it. Up here on the grill, now this is where I put the mineral spirits on it, just treating it. Again, I'm not going to try to paint it today. Try to do a little tear out right there. I did get this all smoothed down. It's intermittently sprinkling on me, so I'm not going to try to chase it today and make more problems for myself. So that's where we're at right now. Much better gloss, but I'm going to wait so it's a good clear dry day, get this reshot, then I'll wait and get the protectant on there. Did have some overspray. I do have some of the Plasti dip remover that I can take off here. This should be able to peel up. I just don't want to take my gray away. I know I overshot there. It's just anxious isn't the word. What is it? Just wanting to get too much done, and should have just been patient with it. So that's what you get. So that'll involve getting that off there. Not that I care about the black on there, because I'll just reshoot it with the gray, the anthracite. But I can't get that remover in here and in there, maybe with some Q-tips, toothpicks, whatever, delicately do it. Get that off there, get it taped off appropriately, and reshoot it gray. And I'll be reshooting the louvers, the blades, if you remember that video. Reshooting those gray also. And then I'll get the protectant on all of it, take care of that for us. But that's where we're at, guys. That gloss black is doing so much better. Now, it's not an exact match. Obviously, this is a brilliant, what is it? Brilliant pearl metallic black. Can't see really well the metallic in there, especially with the water stains, but we're not going for an exact match. I did just want at least a gloss black to it though, so that's doing much better. Thank you, APG crew. Y'all be safe.